In this video, I will talk about the various settings that you can make in Workbench and also in Design Modeler. So for example, if I take the view option, you can see this is shaded exterior only and the edges will be not displayed. And you can see that these options are now grayed out and you cannot select them. So again, if you take a look here, shaded exterior edges, so now you can select them. Okay. And this shows the arrow direction of your edge, and based on this direction, you can decide the side of the edge. So this is the side number 1 because the arrow is pointing here, and this is side number 2. And depending on if you go for the meshing, the grading is based on these directions. So on the one side, the edge spacing, if you provide on the one side, will be more graded towards this side, but on this edge, because the arrow is pointing this side, this is side number 1. So this will be pointing on this side. So I'll discuss these things when I will be doing on the meshing course. Okay, then you can also make it wireframe. So wireframe means that it is without any shaded parts, and you will see only lines in the model. Okay, and then you can select the graphics option that you can see directly, which are available here. You can select them from here. Then you know about the frozen body transparency if you are in the shaded exterior. So this is how this will look like, and if you uncheck, this will be like this. Okay, so again the wireframe and cross section alignments, they are used for when you are in the plane view, when you display any plane here. So this is the cross section alignments. Okay, so you can uncheck this option anytime. And do you want to display a direction? Yes, this is also again from here, same thing. And display vertices, you can uncheck also from here. You can also uncheck from here. And then outline, expand all, windows, you can set them. If somehow these windows are moved somewhere, let's say, so you can reset them anytime. Okay, so from the view, windows, and reset outlay. Okay, so sorry, the layout. So this is how you can work with your screen and different options. And to display model in any direction, you can right click here and you can select your view. So view right now is a front view, let's say. Here it's right side view is top view, for example. And you can also click on these 3 arrows and you can set the views according to normal to these arrows. Okay, so here also, and also you can make the view as the isometric view directly, and for that you have to so you will select from the screen. So isometric view anytime you want. Okay. Okay, this second thing is that about units. I think I discussed this thing already, and right now it is in the meters, and the large model support is turned off. So you can turn on when you are starting to work on your geometry. Once you create your geometry, this option you will not be able to select this option. And model tolerance, you can change anytime. You can make it tight, loose, or normal. But for most of the models, I will be keeping them as a default setting for the normal. And if you go to the tools, and from here you can select basically add-ins. And here you can select any add-in. For example, one of the important one is the bullet editor and load on startup and loaded. Okay, so you can apply this one. And this will appear only once you close the design modeler and reopen the design modeler. For example, here. But before you close design modeler and reopen the design modeler, you have to make one more setting, that is from the tools menu and options. So first we use the add-ins and then options. And here you have to see, for example, the add-ins, and then see here, the option is for Blade Modeler. You can see here, because we did that add-in, so this add-in is now displaying here. So Blade Modeler licensing is available. So but we want to make it always available. So that's why I'm selecting the option as a yes. Otherwise, by default is the if available. So click on yes and click on OK. So still you don't see anything at all on the screen these menus. So I will close the Design Modeler and reopen the Design Modeler. You will see that now option for Design Modeler, sorry, the Blade Modeler will be appearing on your screen. So you can see now Blade Editor is giving all the options like the import blade geometry, load NDF, flow path, blade splitter. This is the software's Vista TF export points for the turbo grid, and stage fluid zone, sector cut, throat area, CAD import. There are many options and model settings which you can make from here. Okay, so this is how you work on the different options. Then if I go and click on the options, and if I select it if available and close it, and let's open Design Modeler again. And because we have unselected the Blade Editor, so you will not see any menu for Blade Editor over here. Okay. Okay, let's discuss about the few more settings in the Design Modeler as well as in the Workbench. So first, Design Modeler changes. So you can add many things like the Autodyne, AAP, Workbench add-in, and Sim add-in, SAMC, SAMSEF add-in. There are many things if needed, you can add them from here. Okay, so now the next thing is that again the options. So add-ins we discussed already. Common settings is basically about the parallel processing. So how many processors you want to use. So right now it's a 2. You can make it as per your requirements. If model is very heavy and you have the more processors on your computer, then you can choose more. And in the geometry, problematic geometry limits means for every geometry there are the multiple parts or multiple faces. So it will not import more than 10 problematic parts. But definitely when we are importing geometry, at least for this course is concerned, so I will not be importing any geometry which has the errors. But if there are some errors, they will be dealt within the course. Okay, so we will also learn about that, how to rectify the errors in the geometry. And then measurement accuracy is a high, so it's a default one, so you can keep it up to there. And graphics, I told you that this is facet quality. Facet quality, how you can check it. So let me close and make it the shaded view. Okay, and also let me hide these faces. I want to show you the geometry quality. This is only for display purpose and it does not affect the geometry at all. So whatever geometry quality is there, it will be exported, but only visibility quality or display quality will be affected by this command. So this is about the facet quality. So if you make it, let's say 1, and you will see the blade quality, especially because for simple surfaces this will not make any issue, but for curvature this will definitely is going to make the issue. So you can feel this thing over here. So this is now like it's a combination of lines. So instead of the continuous circle, it is combination of lines. And similarly you can feel on the blade, especially on the trailing edge, you can see this effect is very much pronounced here. So geometry quality this is only for display. Okay, so I can correct this one again by making it by default value which is 5. Okay, now let's go back to the so other things like the show edges of hidden faces. No, highlight section. So it says, okay, now this setting is also very interesting. So you can see here, right now what is happening is that these three faces, the side one, inlet and top, they are hidden. But now we are able to see their edges. So this is maybe a very good option. So if you uncheck this option, and what will happen? So say no and click on OK. So these edges are now gone. Okay. So this is not gone from model, but this is gone from the visibility. And then again in the options, there are the miscellaneous settings, startup mode, modeling. Okay. Then the saved feature data partially. Okay. Auto save frequency every 10th generate. Okay. So after every 10th model generation command, this will be saving the your geometry. And X at Z explain direction. So it is at the Y axis. Okay, then sketching tool. So global auto constraints on. Okay, auto constraint. So what is the meaning of auto constraint? This constraint should be always turned on. So let me tell you this, what is meaning of this thing. Also, I will be explaining the same thing when I am going to discuss about the sketching modes. Okay, so in the sketching modes, I will discuss about these things as well. So global auto constraints means that basically when we are in the, let's say this is a plane view, and we have some geometry made over here. Okay, and or we have the some axis, maybe this is the line for axis. So let's say the X, Y, Z. So in any case, and if I go there, okay, and I want to start geometry from this existing geometry. So what will happen is that this auto constraint will be capturing this point, and so there's no need to worrying about that the geometry we are creating from here is not matching with the existing geometry. So this geometry will take effect from here. So it will automatically give you option, and then you can take the geometry from there. And also when you are hovering over the line, similarly on the axis, this will give you option C. C means you are on the curve. And on the point, this will going to give you the point option, and also same is true for the origin point. Okay, so these options should be enabled. And show 2D grid in 2D display mode. So right now it's a no, and snap to grid while in sketching, so it's no, but it should be turned on. So when we start with the sketching, I will be turning on these options. And apply grid defaults to, okay, you can keep it as no. Okay, minimum axis length is 25, major grid spacing is a 5, minor grid space per major are the 5, grid spacing per minor is a 1. So this is about the grid when you are in the sketching mode. So you can change defaults from there. This is the minimum axis length is 35. This is in the centimeters. You can increase this value. And major grid spacing again 5 and 5 and 1. So grid defaults in the millimeters are these ones, in the micrometers are these ones, inches are these ones. So whatever options you are working, whatever unit system you are working, we have some default values. Okay. And now this is very interesting, the toolbar. So right now toolbars are over here. Okay. So show icon in toolbars. So let's say extrude option is there, and if this is the pattern option. Okay, so if I say it yes, okay, so you can see that we have the pattern option is enabled over here. Okay, now again go back and toolbar. So what we did, we selected the pattern. Okay, the pattern is over here. So now you can again select on the OK, and this is now removed. And similarly, this is about the feature show icon in toolbar over here. Okay, tools show icon in toolbar. So this is feature. These are features, and these are the commands. Okay, these are tools. So freeze, unfreeze, name selection. Right now these are in the menus. So for example, we have the enclosure. This is very important command, especially like right now. For example, this is enclosure around the wind turbine blade. So if you say yes, this command will be displayed in the toolbar. So This may be very much handy because if you are using the command very often, in that case, this is very handy to make them available on the toolbars. Okay, and also you can remove the commands which you don't want to use, so you can also remove them from the toolbar. So this command is very much helpful. And in the units, so do not use project units. So you can set the units in the project, which is in the workbench, and or you can use the units from the workbench. So always use project units, assign project units as at the start, and do not use project units. So you have to select the units from here. Okay, and the angle is in the degrees and the length units are in the meters. Enable large mod support. So you are saying no. So it's a no. Okay. So we don't need this thing very often in the large model support. This is useful when we are working with the very large models like the town planning, urban planning. Okay, then these are some things which are for the mechanical, and so we don't use this thing right now. This is for the meshing. So highlight topology beyond mesh if possible, and physics preference the CFD definitely. We need this thing because we are working on the CFD part, but definitely you can select for the FE as well. And use multi-zone. So this is right now, so off. You can make it on also. And the number of CPUs for parallel part meshing is a 0 right now. You can make number of as per your choice. And save mesh data in separate file right now. Say no, it is in the same file. Okay, virtual topology. Okay, so for the export, you can set the different settings for the mesh quality, element quality based on the physics preferences. So you can make it on also. Aspect ratio, you can also make it on. And so if there are any important parameters for the meshing, you want to have them always visible on the screen, then you can turn them on from here. Otherwise, keep them on the default. Okay. And now let me change some settings for the workbench also. So here is the project management, appearance, you can change it, and also you can change the options like number of significant digits, number of files in recently used file list 4, which you can see from the file menu, and unsupported features you can turn on, beta feature options you can turn on, and text and toolbars which are already turned on, you can hide them. And system coordinates are shown at a startup, yes. And then this is about the turbo system. This is about geometry import, as I told you many times. And so this is about the whole thing about these all settings. Okay. And the last thing about the workbench is that definitely we have to save the file. And this file name would be your first project. Okay, and so for this first project, you are going to get few files. So one is the project file, which does not contain anything at all. It's only a project management file, and corresponding folder will be here. Okay, and this will contain all the necessary files. Okay, if you zip the file, which is always I would always recommend that you should be always zipping the file. So you can close from here. And first of all, save project file. And also when you are in the geometry, you can go to toolbars, from the view menu, and you can check on the outline, number 1. Second is on the properties. So outline is not important right now, but this properties is very important. So right now it's a geometry, and which folder it is saved? It is saved in the GEOM. So you can see inside the DP0, inside the ZP0, we have the DP0. This file is inside this directory. So this is shown over here. So this will not make any confusions, and you can directly go to that directory, and if you want to copy these files to some other directory, you can also do it. And also it is giving you the geometry file name along with the full path. You can see over here. And analysis type is 3D, yes. Sometimes we are working on the 2D case. So in that case, you have to select the 2D in the very beginning. Okay. So for every command, there will be different options, and you can select them. For example, for the fluent, you can choose the number of processors at a startup before starting the Fluent. Okay. So last thing is that I'm going to archive the file. This is going to be the single file with the extension W Workbench WB PZ. Okay, this file is over here, will be here, WBPZ. And whenever you want to send the file to me or to your friend, for why you want to send file to me? Because you want to have some problem in the applying some command and you want to me to look at those errors and rectify them. So please do state your problem, what you have done, what you are trying to do, and the nature of problem. Let's say you are working on the wind turbine, you want to do this and this thing. So those things should be mentioned clearly with some snapshots, and possible maybe one movie you can upload on the YouTube. You can send me link, and this file, which is going to be the Workbench project file. Okay, so let me check. So archive, and it should be over there. Okay, let me check. Okay, so archive. Okay, one more thing I want to mention here is that when you are working on the files, because we imported the file, geometry file from somewhere. So if you archive this file, for example, if you archive in this way, so archive and save, okay, and imported file external to project directory. So this will also be archived. Okay, and now let me close the Workbench and open Workbench again. And this is my working directory, so I will choose this working directory and I will simply click on open file. Okay, so I can import, I can open the Workbench file, or also I can open directly the zip file. So for opening zip file, I will tell you the method, and for simply opening, just click on file menu and click on open. Okay, now you can go to the file and from here import. Okay, so this is over here and the first project, and click on open. Okay, let me save this project first. Okay, import. Okay, save the file again. So this is going to be over here, 1, 2, 3. And now check the files in 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have the imported file. This is the geometry file which is made in the SolidWorks. So this file also is there. Okay. And definitely we have its original file, which are the geometry file in the HGDB format or design modeler format. This is also here.